This week at NASA.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat.
NASA television helped observe the last transit of Venus we'll see here on Earth until 2117 by showcasing live streaming websites the world over, including observations made by scientists in Central Australia.
There is just a few clouds in the sky, and we are set up for an absolutely gorgeous first and second contact.
And by the NASA EDGE team, stationed atop the Mauna Kea Observatory in Hawaii.
I'm not going to look until I put my blinders down. Yes. And now, well, of course, now I can't see anything.
Scientists at NASA headquarters also provided information and insight about this rare yet predictable celestial phenomenon that has captivated humankind for millennia.
From a perspective of wanting to know more about our solar system, here's an occurrence like an eclipse that's very rare, and of course it attracts our natural interest in looking at these wandering objects and where they go, and in this case Venus is going to cross in front of the sun.
If I could actually dream 105 years, 117 years from now, I wouldn't think about the transit of Venus. What do you think about transit of Earth as seen from Mars?
And NASA helped provide some unique images. This is how the transit appeared to astronaut Don Pettit from his vantage point on board the International Space Station. And NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory captured the entire transit in stunning greater than HD resolution. Several NASA centers hosted public transit viewing parties. At the Ames Research Center, close to 6,000 people came to watch the sky and broadcast, plus ask questions of Kepler mission and planetary scientists. No matter where they were, those who witnessed the transit were treated to a last-in-our-lifetime event.
Hi, I'm Gay Yee Hill at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. About a half dozen of our JPLers have brought in their own personal telescopes equipped with solar filters so they can share this once-in-a-lifetime event with some of their coworkers and also people who live in the neighborhood.
I saw the sun, but I saw this tiny black dot, but I couldn't see it at first, but then I looked closer, and then I saw the tiny black dot, and I knew that was Venus.
What surprised me about it most was the fact that I guess that I was able to see it in my lifetime.
What are you going to do, tell your grandkids about this?
Assuming I have any.
It's really cool. You can see it through, and if you can look closely, there's like a really, really extremely tiny black dot, which is Venus.
If you missed this one, that's okay. There's another one coming. Unfortunately, it's 105 years away. So you can understand why these kids are stoked that they just witnessed something that happens just once in a lifetime.
As NASA joined the world to witness the Venus transit, officials at the Glenn Research Center hosted media representatives to learn about and see some of the capabilities developed to pave the way for future robotic missions to Venus. The event began in a lab where engineers rapidly create various space exploration concepts, some of which involve flying in the Venus sky. Glenn researchers summarized Glenn's capabilities for future Venus missions and gave a briefing on what a Venus rover could look like. They also talked about their excitement in observing the Venus transit and working with scientists around the world to better understand what happens on Venus and what that may mean for us here on Earth.
The climate models that we currently use on Earth only have Earth as a set of data to validate. Venus will provide a new set of validation that will allow us to improve our weather prediction capabilities.
Reporters also toured Glenn's new extreme environment rig that will simulate harsh environments of planets like Venus. This rig is the largest of its kind in the world.
This extreme environments rig truly is an extreme environments rig. It can handle harsh, high pressure, high temperature, but also the conditions such as on Titan, where it's cold and yet pressurized. And some of the new planets that are being discovered, such as exoplanets that are a little larger than Earth, but have very similar conditions to Venus.
One of the areas that we're working is a seismometer that can measure the vibrations on the Venus surface. This seismometer is meant to be able to withstand harsh environments of Venus and actually operate on the Venus surface.
A little more than a month after arriving at New York's JFK Airport atop a NASA 747 shuttle carrier aircraft, Space Shuttle Enterprise concluded its voyage when NASA's first space shuttle made its much-anticipated arrival by way of barge on the Hudson River to its new home, the Intrepid Sea, Air, and Space Museum. Enterprise will be on exhibit to the public beginning July 19th in a temporary climate-controlled pavilion. Intrepid continues work on a permanent exhibit facility to showcase Enterprise and enhance the museum's space-related exhibits and education curriculum. To celebrate 100 years of the Girl Scouts, NASA helped the organization rock the National Mall by hosting an event at NASA headquarters in Washington. Scouts were treated to an engaging program that included hands-on activities to learn about aeronautics, science, and exploration. They also learned about NASA's missions and careers from special guests that included former NASA astronauts Heidi Marie Stephanician-Piper and Pam Melroy, and NASA Deputy Administrator Lori Garber.
The organization, the Girl Scouts, strives to teach girls self-reliance and resourcefulness. It also encourages girls to seek fulfillment in the professional world and to become active citizens in their communities. In my experience, there are no better skills than those to prepare you for the future.
It was great talking to a group of Girl Scouts, telling them all about the things, the neat stuff you can do with math and science. Whether it's in the Navy fixing ships or flying in space and building a space station.
This long tube shape may not look like a spacecraft to most people, but something like it may someday take instruments to Mars or return cargo to Earth. Packed into its restraining bag is IRVI-3, the Inflatable Reentry Vehicle experiment, developed at NASA's Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia. It's designed to demonstrate that inflatable spacecraft are feasible.
It's very challenging to develop an inflatable spacecraft because you have to use materials that do not mind being packed down into a small volume for launch and then unfolded up to the